what's going on, yo? Welcome back, OTB. Oh, sorry, I was wondering where the echo was coming from. And then I realized I had
OTB?
the what did I say? OTB snaps. Sorry, I already did fucking a 3-hour sports radio talk show, Aaron, this morning. What did you do?
I played golf.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The QB1 lifestyle. There we go. Speaking of QB1, we got QB1 right here, Matt Barkley.
What's up,
USC,
boys?
great. Fight on.
There we go.
USC just humbling my Tigers in those wicked deserts of Las Vegas a few weeks ago. SC looking strong, heading to Michigan this weekend. We'll break it all down. Matt, what's up, man? TBob, nice to meet you, brother. Hope all is well.
How we doing? Is this a golf show or a football show?
It's a lot of things. So Matt's a good human, by the way, T-Bob. So
I know.
You need to calm down some of the stuff that you say. It gets a little wild
Aaron,
at times.
Aaron, do you go to church every Sunday?
I miss the locker room, so let's ramp it up a little bit, okay?
I don't even know if some of the stuff we said in here is appropriate for the locker room, but
Aaron, do you go to church every Sunday?
I do not. Okay, I'm not saying I'm a good person. I'm not a good person. No one said that.
Okay. Yeah. Back off. Anyway, I mean, look, yes, degenerate in a lot of ways, but whatever. Everybody find your own way. I'm T-Bob. He's Aaron Murray. This is Snaps. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And this is Matt Barkley. Join us to preview a massive game this weekend at Matt Barkley on Twitter, Big 10 analyst, 11-year NFL vet. How about this? All-American and a Werfel Trophy winner in 12. I think Gabe Eichert might have won it in 13.
Yeah.
In 1 week. We've had back-to-back All-American Werfel winning trophy guests. Like, how about that, dude? Let's fucking go.
Nice.
It's a good day. Matt, thank you for joining us. First question, Bitcoin about to pump. How we feeling? You and Aaron feeling pretty good right now, huh?
Oh, I am long, extra long, and very bullish since 2016. So,
woo, baby.
Yeah, I'm in for the long haul.
He doesn't have Bitcoin just chilling right now that he's been putting in for the past few years too.
It's not a lot. It's not. Look, extra long is something I've never been described as, but I'm not going to. I'm not getting out now. I'm not pulling out now. So whatever. We out here. All right, let's get into football though, because the thing that shocked me most, and for my local job, I cover LSU, right? So I like went over that film like a fine-tooth comb, about 4 hours. And the thing that I keep coming back to is nothing about that USC defense felt fluky to me. It's how it was the strength that they played with that really shocked me. This was not a soft defense. And now, I've read all about how they've added so much weight in the offseason, but they just look so strong at the point of attack. Mason Cobb, Anthony Lucas, all these guys. In your estimation, how is it that you have a group that last year looked like a wet paper towel and this year is, legitimately firm in that front seven?
I think they finally have an identity. And last year they were all over the place. I mean, the missed tackles for the last couple of years, just the lack of physicality. There was no identity. And so to see them come out, everyone was asking me how they're going to do this year. And I'm like, they're going to score points. Offense is not going to be the issue. Let me just see one drive from their defense to see how they hold up. And I'd been to the spring practices, the spring game, but to see them actually against another opponent, an SEC opponent at that, and how that was going to hold up, after one drive, I'm like, all right, this is a completely different team.
Yeah.
And, they went through – they only have 2 games compared to some of the teams having 3 because of their bye week. But out of all Power 4 teams, they have the least amount of missed tackles of any Power 4 team right now, which if you would have put a bet on that based on last year, it's like no chance that happens. But D'Anton Lynn comes in, creates a culture, creates an identity, and that's all it is.
Is this the bigger test though for you? Like, because we've talked about LSU and T-Bob obviously being offensive lineman. LSU is kind of seen them over the past few weeks, more of a pass first group instead of that hard hitter downhill physical style that Michigan's going to be this week. It's like if they prove it this weekend that they can match up against Michigan and that offense line with Orji at quarterback that's going to be downhill running the football at his size, would you say that's more of the yes, we have turned the corner moment, or is it already there? or do you need to see it another time?
Well, I think the fact that they're going to get into these Big Ten games now, yeah, with different styles of offense, and the majority of Big Ten teams have even kind of, since we played, it was all the let's get 12 personnel and just run it downhill every play, and it's a lot more zone read now. So those offenses have changed, but there still is a theme of like power running football in the Big Ten, and this week, it'll definitely be another challenge. I think, again, their identity is solidified, at least on defense, from week one. And I think moving forward, just proving that against better teams as they, get deeper into their schedule will be important.
So, again, that missed tackle stat that you referenced is pretty unbelievable, considering last year they were 100th in the country with 143 missed tackles, only 8 through 2 games right now. But I mentioned the growth of the player, like the actual physical growth of the players, and this is something that was highlighted on the broadcasts for the LSU game. But reportedly, the offensive defense adding more than basically 1,500 pounds over the offseason. But what I found interesting is that they talk about D'Anton Lynn and Eric Henderson kind of spearheading that initiative, right? We're moving to the Big Ten. We got to get bigger. Right. I guess I'm wondering, like, how is it that, why did it take, or how do we get to the point like where it takes D'Anton Lynn to say that? It's one of those things where it's like, well, if that was always just like, hey, let's just get bigger. Like, let's just get bigger and stronger, guys. We should try that idea. How did that finally come about this offseason?
I wish I was a fly on the wall for that conversation to be like, where was this before? What were we doing? Yeah, the last 2 years. And maybe they were prioritizing speed and just trying to keep up and, be quicker on the defense side of the ball. But that doesn't work, especially in the Big Ten. And I think there's definitely a hybrid, like with linebackers becoming more faster now, especially in the league. And to be able to keep up with speed is so important. But to be able to hold it down and to build the muscle mass like they did this offseason with the strength and conditioning. I mean, I don't know if you saw some of those pictures of like the before and after. It was pretty impressive. It was almost like the jump that like the Clay Matthews had back in the day, and
I remember when Urban Meyer got to Ohio State, they had a bunch of pictures like that as well. But there wasn't a strength coach change though, right?
No, it was the same coach.
God, see, that's fucking crazy to me.
Same coach that Lincoln.
It was literally D'Anton Lynn just be like, guys, we should get bigger.
We need to get bigger. Okay, it's funny. So I think it is. Matt said it's a coaching preference, because obviously being in Georgia and going to Georgia, Kirby would rather get someone that is a little bit too big and then turn them more athletic instead of getting an athlete and getting them put on bulk. So he's the different mindset where you have an offensive guy who I think offensive guys think speed, athleticism. I like it on both sides. I know it maybe gives me trouble in the secondary. It's like you have that mindset where you bring in more of this defensive guy that hopefully says like, no, we have to be able to handle ourselves at the point of attack in some of these games. So good for them, man. It's those pictures were pretty damn impressive. I want to flip it to the other side because I got to talk about quarterbacks. I doubted Miller Moss all offseason. I love the bowl game. Don't get me wrong. He looked good. But when you look at the physical attributes, he doesn't have your size. He doesn't have the athleticism of Caleb. He doesn't have the arm strength. But it works within the system. How do you judge a quarterback that isn't, say, a Caleb or a Kyler or a Baker Mayfield, the quarterbacks we've grown accustomed to seeing in the system, to now Miller Moss, who I compare him a lot to Stetson Bennett, but just runs the offense really well?
He has taken hold of this offense and I think used his own strengths combined with how Lincoln's coaching him. And that combination is lethal. And if you look at Caleb and what he was able to do, like outside the pocket and off timing throws, he was next level. And that transition to the NFL is a little different, right? To be able to do that consistently, because you have to be a pocket passer and throw on time with anticipation. But I think those are strengths that Miller Moss has and that he's developed, and he's, waited his time. So he knows the system and he can just operate efficiently, getting the ball out. I don't know if this is right, but I think I saw a stat where he was getting the ball off on average almost a whole second quicker than Caleb was compared to last year or the last 2 years. And so he's a very cerebral, very, very smart quarterback and just knows his strengths. And if that's timing passes and getting the ball out on time, getting through his progressions, he's doing it really well.
Where do you
Boys, here's a
project him?
question.
Sorry, where
Go
where would you say NFL wise? Mid-round guy? Like, I haven't seen his arm strength up in person. I can only go from what I've seen on tape or watching games on TV. So it's always hard to judge that. But how is the physical attributes? Because like you said, the intangibles are there. The toughness, the accuracy, the anticipation, the understanding of a very complex offense, like all that checks for the next level. But like 6 foot, 200 pounds, could that hold him back from being a guy that could be a second, third rounder?
Size might. I don't think his arm strength will hold him back. He has a more than capable arm and uses. I love his motion. I think he has great technique and finds answers. Can push the ball down the field. Size might be an issue. I mean, we've seen that with some guys, but I think he'll find a way. He's the type of guy that will, make up for it, whether it's Drew Brees looking like this, through his face mask or whatever. But I don't think he'll have an issue with that. He's solid.
It seems like outside looking in, Miller scores very high on the intangibles scale, which is as important at that position as almost anything else. Boys, here's a question for the group. Where do we rank Miller Moss in the Big Ten quarterback hierarchy right now, right? I mean, would most people still say Gabriel 1, even with some of the early wobbles? Are you putting him ahead of Will
Gabriel
Howard?
Necessarily wobbled, though.
No, Gabriel's
we're not having this conversation. Gabriel's stats are high volume. They've been a little ineffective functionally with how high volume
Miller's 2. Miller's 2 pushing 1. Right?
Okay. I would think so, right? Because I'm not going to put Will
There's
Howard
no one else in there. I mean, unless you want to go your boy from Michigan State.
Quarterback strong conference. No. Hey, I like Aiden Childs, dude. Relax. He's going to be really good, dude.
Okay.
Chilly.
He's up. He's in the conversation for sure.
Yeah.
He is. And I mean, Dylan Gabriel, that offense is built for efficiency and completion percentage.
Yeah.
And he kind of broke out of that, though, I think this last week against Oregon State with some out of the pocket stuff and throwing the ball down the field. But we've seen, I mean, Lincoln Riley is kind of built for efficiency too, but we've seen Miller Moss like push it downfield, fit tight, deep ins, like in between defenders or hole shots. Like he's making tough throws, in my opinion, that he's seeing everything great and just trusting that offense.
A couple of those LSU throws were
unbelievable,
gutsy and in tight windows. Wait, real quick. So I want to build on top of the last answer. Okay. So if we're ranking Moss second in the conference, and we actually believe in what D'Anton and Eric Henderson have created on the defensive side of the ball, we know they have good weapons. Where do we rank the team in the Big Ten? Right? We'll still go Ohio State 1, obviously, but after that, it gets interesting. I mean, if we go Oregon, it's not by much. And then I don't feel good about Penn State yet. Like, not with what we've seen thus far. Like, is USC, if they win this weekend, do we rocket them to third in the conference?
I mean, do they rocket to 2 in the conference?
Yeah. Maybe so. What would you say, Matt?
I think after this weekend, if they prove it's got to be a dominant win, in my opinion. If they win by a 1 possession game, I mean, it also depends how Oregon does, but they're top 3 for sure. And I mean, Penn State's going to be a good game for USC, and they have a talented roster. But I don't think, for as high as Michigan was rated to start the year, I don't think they have the pieces to make it last. And so I would say top 3, if not pushing 2.
I'm with you. Where is you live in the West? I think you live in LA, right, Matt?
Yeah, down in Orange County. Yep.
Okay. What is the excitement level right now? Like, was joining the Big Ten really that big of a deal to like the core fan base there? And like, what is like, hey, in 2 weeks when Wisconsin shows up, if they do beat Michigan, do we expect a sold out Coliseum, celebrities on the sideline? Like, where is it right now with fan support, juice, all that in LA?
They just announced that Wisconsin is sold out, and Nebraska.
Okay.
The next two games are sold out.
Let's go, dude.
For a 92,000 seat Coliseum. And so, yes, the buzz is back. And LA is always fickle with fans. Like, you've got to be a hot ticket.
You got to win.
Whether it's like Ohtani and the Dodgers. You had the Lakers back in the day. Like, everyone would just go to Lakers games. Or if the Clippers were hot for whatever reason, or you go to the beach. Like, there's other stuff to do. So you have to be exciting. And I went back for the home opener last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago, for Utah State, and it was a shutout, 48-0. It was not really a
first shutout since 2012.
Yeah, which, dude, I was watching the game, and someone, I was like, I hope it was like 24-0 or something, and I'm like, man, that'd be sweet to get a shutout. Someone asked me when the last shutout was. I'm like, I don't remember, and it was when we beat UCLA 50-0. My junior year. Which I had no clue. I'm like, it's been that long, jeez. But there's a buzz around campus, around just the alumni group, and fans are kind of all in again. And Lincoln's earned that right and that trust from everybody, and it's exciting to watch like those big plays happen on the field rather than just like grinding out wins. Like, I don't know if it's as flashy as like the Reggie days when every player, like, what's going to happen? You know, like when you're watching Tiger Woods or something, you're like, something crazy is about to happen. There's been glimpses of that with the talent they have, like with Zachariah Branch on a punt return or something. But there's definitely this like excitement again.
What's holding him back at receiver, by the way? You brought up Branch. Like, what is holding him back from being explosive on offense?
I don't know. I wish I knew him better to kind of get in his head about whether it's route running capabilities or just like finding open zones. He seems to do a lot with the, either just like a deep threat or like the bubble screen and make some guy miss. But I mean, they've got, from Kyron Hudson and the other guys, like this dude's making plays. Yeah. And so I don't know if that's Miller just like trusting where the ball should go based on coverage, and based on progression rather than finding a playmaker like some quarterbacks do. Yeah. That may be a part of it. Not too sure, but
I mean, I'll say this, you look at Miller Moss in the bowl game last year, it felt like 11 or like 13 guys had catches. Nobody had too many. You look at the LSU box score, it's 5 for Hudson, 5 for McCree, 4 for Branch, 3 for Lane, 2 for Deuce, 2 for Ford, and then 3 for Mark. So like he is seeing the field, and he is going to go where the defense dictates that he should, which honestly is going to be his best, his greatest strength. So bringing it back to the matchup this weekend, Matt, I see a lot of ways that USC wins because Michigan's not as strong on the offensive line. USC's offense is more dynamic and way more consistent. They have a huge advantage at quarterback. So I see a lot of ways they win. What, in your opinion, is the way that Michigan could pull this off? Like, what's the path that it looks like for the Wolverines to win?
Well, they stated that they're going to kind of want to force USC to pass for whatever reason. Like, they're going to try. I mean, it's always stop the run, force them to pass.
Yeah, sure.
But if that's the goal, then good luck. I guess it's going to be maybe a long night. But I think they want to. I think what they're saying is they want to control the line of scrimmage, and so that's always vindictive of who's going to win. Usually, whether if you can get pressures or on the offensive side of the ball, keep moving that line of scrimmage. But I don't know if they're going to be able to do that on the defensive side of the ball for Michigan. And again, with the size and the experience and the offensive line that USC has, I've been really impressed with their run blocking and pass pro. And so I would give SC an edge in that department. And if Michigan thinks that's how they're going to win the game, then maybe play quarters with 20-yard deep safeties just to try to stop the run, or stop the pass.
Do you like attacking quarters as much as every other quarterback I talk to? Every quarterback I talk to just feels like they fucking gobble up quarters, which always makes me wonder, like, well, then why are people out here running quarters?
Well, college quarters, Yes, it's a little different. So like when I was in Buffalo with the Bills, Sean McDermott ran quarters a lot, but I played with Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, who
Mm.
for the time when I was at Buffalo were I think one of the best safety combinations in the league.
Yeah.
And they were so in tune with disguising different looks, whether it was a post high look or quarters. And teams can play it different where those safeties would drive the run and the corners would kind of overlap over the top, or more of that palms look where corners would drive to the flats or anything underneath and safeties would stay high. And so there's different ways of attacking that, but college quarters, those guys aren't smart enough or like in tune enough to really mess with you like that. And so like if you just high low those safeties with like in cuts and a post over the top, or
Touchdown.
just take hitches all day, or just work the backer one-on-one, like there's mismatches all over the field.
Well, I also think that like for college too, one, the hash is and the sideline's far away. So like they're like,
True.
we're not going to see that many quarterbacks that can throw to the field with accuracy and consistency. So like we're fine manning that corner up one-on-one. We'd rather, especially when Matt and I play a lot of 21 personnel or 12 personnel, a lot of running the football, you needed to get a safety in the box. So like, yeah, I mean, the amount of time we called like R144 Demon, which was just a post that broke it off across the safety's face, first two or quarters or single, and then you got the big post with the guy that can run the outside. I threw maybe 20 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's a gimme.
Easy.
Did y'all see Mel Kiper on Get Up this morning? ESPN did an entire segment on how Mel Kiper
cover two.
That cover two should be illegal. Cover two is ruining the NFL. Which, boys, I'll be interested to see your opinion on this. And this is not a college question, but in the NFL, it's a couple minutes more, Matt, I apologize. But in the NFL right now, the meta is shifting and running the ball is winning again. Like you're averaging less than 200 yards passing a game right now. And I think it's like the first time since maybe like the 90s or something like that. Like it's pretty wild just how far things seem to be rubber banding back to a more run first, heavy style of play. What do y'all think is what's kind of behind this?
Yeah, I just read this morning. Dan Orlovsky shared through 2 weeks in the NFL, there's only been 69 pass touchdowns, which is the lowest since 2006.
Ooh, wow.
There's been 41% designed run plays, which is the highest since 2008. And there's only been 545 blitzes, which is the fewest on record through 2 weeks. And so I think teams are realizing the speed and what's going on offense, and they'd rather more sit back and stop the bleeding, prevent the big plays, and almost catch rather than just be beat over the top.
Wait for the offense to make them
work. Yeah, make them work. It's
at some point during a 12-play drive, the offense is going to screw up. We have to take advantage of it.
Which is actually kind of what Michigan's MO was last week of just kind of sitting back and letting, like, you got to make a 14, 15 play drive. And in college, it's a lot harder to be consistent with that if you have to do that multiple times per game, right? True. In the NFL, you're used to that. Like, take what's there. If it's a check down, quarterbacks are much more comfortable with taking a check down and just keeping the ball moving. But, it's hard to do that as an offense. College quarterbacks, I feel like, are much more impatient and want to make a play or make a splash, and they don't want to trust that. But in the NFL, guys they have to do that because that's kind of the nature of where defenses are going.
So, boys, now I know they haven't played anybody, so there's no point. I don't want to make too much of it, but right now, the numbers that Jackson Dart is putting up under Lane Kiffin are mind-blowing. Like, you would struggle to get better numbers against air. 83% completion, 13 yards per attempt, 390 per game, 8 tuds, 1 pick. Matt, you played for Kiffin. Now, obviously, Kiffin's kind of had so many different eras in his own career that, like, I don't know if you even could comment on how he's maybe grown from then to now. But what is it that you find as a quarterback? What does Lane Kiffin do to kind of make you feel comfortable and help you find some of the success?
He's a mastermind. I think the best, if not one of the best play callers I've ever been around. And his ability to set up shots, to whether it's in the run game or play action or just picking on a player on defense and exposing him with guys who have speed or are big playmakers. He found so much joy in just explosive
What an
plays.
asshole. He's a bully.
He found so much just excitement in points, in yards. Like, it didn't matter what the score is. Like that 50-0 game I mentioned versus UCLA, that could have easily been 49-0. But he wanted to go for 2 to make it 50-0. Like, there was no need. That was the last 2-point conversion of the game, I think.
No, dude.
And it was
Oh
like just
God.
little things like that where he just wants to make a statement. And you see him on the sideline holding his hands up when the ball's in the air.
I was going to say, he knows it. Like, there's
yeah.
a million clips of him out there where he knows the shot's dialed up, and before it comes, it's happening. So as a quarterback, that's got to be a pretty heady feeling, right? Pretty empowering when you know you have a coach that's going to put you in a great position to make massive plays.
It's very comforting, and especially when you have guys on the outside that you can trust in and make plays. Like when I had, Marquise Lee and Robert Woods on the outside, Nelson Aguilar at one point, and Kiff, would just be back there scheming to get them open, and there was always someone that could make a big play. And with his play calling, again, the ability to set plays up, to set up those, get those safeties in quarters to dive up or whatever it was and hit something over the top. He would always find a way to exploit someone or some scheme. Yeah. Too good.
It's crazy, man. Matt, thank you so much, brother. Kept you here 30 minutes. It's awesome to finally meet you. It's cool, man. I love hearing you break down ball. Shout out to USC, dude. Fight on,
baby.
Trojans are back.
I think college football is a little bit better that the Trojans are
100%
kind of in the mix now.
I would agree. I love all the big brands being back. Bring Nebraska back. We got Michigan back already. Yes, USC next in line. You the man, Matt. Thank you so much. You have a great day.
Love it. Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it, Matt.
Later, brother. Thank you.